Hey there, lady. My name is Molly Connolly, and I'm devoted to helping women reinvent their love lives, whether that's after divorce, dating on and off the apps, or in their committed relationship. Why? Because I've been there. I'm a former college athlete who filed for divorce 3 years into marriage, swam in the online dating pool into my late 30s, and now I am married to the man of my spreadsheet dreams who I met 4 months before the world shut down. As a dating and relationship coach, I help my clients shift the focus from being obsessed with finding Mr. Right to shifting to herself as Miss Right Now. We build a foundation filled with clarity, connection, and confidence, knowing she is worth waiting for. Each week on the podcast, I'll bring you love life insights and savvy guests, where you will receive the courage to release programmed limiting beliefs. Discover patterns and behaviors restricting you from finding and attracting quality men, and ways to choose yourself first so you can build a foundation for a healthy relationship with yourself and a partner. Hey ladies, you are listening to Reinventing the Arena, and I'm your host, Molly Connolly. I am so excited to have you here listening to the very first episode. So welcome. As of 2 weeks ago, in the middle of December 2022, I decided to take a leap and switch my business to be focusing on overwhelmed, overachieving women who are struggling in their relationships. Now, that doesn't mean I won't be talking about career or the other things that happen in our lives. Because when you start making changes in one area, you'll start to see changes in another. It's a ripple effect. So whether the change is good or bad, that's all about your inner point of view and possibly your inner blocks. So on this opening episode of Reinventing the Arena, I'm going to share some of the pivotal transitions I've experienced that helped me get to my never-ending honeymoon relationship I have now with my husband, Brad. Sometimes it's hard to figure out where this path truly got started. So I'm just going to say, let's go back to 2005, my senior year, actually my 5th year, when I was a college swimmer. Majority of my friends had relationships, some serious and some not. And for the most part, I decided to focus on swimming. And it wasn't until my last semester when I tried to be in a serious relationship that I realized how difficult they really were. In my 20s, I was that woman who would date someone for maybe 3 to 5 months and we would break up. Then I would instantly find a new boyfriend. And I mean, like, instantly within 2 weeks. I always thought they were the problem. I tried then to be the girl who said she was easygoing, who wasn't looking for a truly committed relationship. Just one where the guy wouldn't cheat on me or be wanting to date other women. Well, of course, that went well because I wanted a more secure, committed relationship and didn't communicate this until I was further down the line in the relationship. Men would either ghost me or for days, or would completely move on without saying a word, sending a text or phone call. So then I tried being the fun, outgoing, loud girl, yet that really didn't help me either, as it helped me in this not serious category for those men who were actually available, but I wasn't ready to date yet. In 2007, I met the person who became my first husband, and I met him at a local bar when I was hanging out with my guy friends. 5 months later, we were engaged, and a little over a year later, we were married in 2008. But in 2010, I found out he was cheating on me with his ex-girlfriend and a few other women. And to be honest, I had ignored so many red flags, yet I was still that girl that was determined to fix it. I asked him to go to therapy with me, and he said no. And that technically I was the one that had the issue with him cheating, so I needed to go to therapy by myself. Yeah, I know. So I did. So I would go into these sessions to work on myself, thinking now it's my problem because I can't accept that he's cheated on me. Total brainwashing. I know. So Yet I would finally come to terms that deep down, I could never be with someone who was dishonest and unwilling to do the real work to mend the relationship, let alone our marriage. So during a session, which turned out to be like my last session with my therapist, she told me she had to stop and just be my friend for a moment. And I'm always going to remember this. She said, "You've tried everything to make this work and nothing has changed. As your friend, I'm saying that I think you should get a divorce." And deep down, I knew I wanted to get a divorce no matter what. I just needed to hear it from someone else who wasn't a friend so that I could give myself permission to do so. After my divorce in 2011, I returned to my old, loud, outgoing party girl self, thinking that this would be an okay way to get back into the dating scene. By then, I had reached 30. So there was this amazing little gap of the party girl time and, women being married age range, right? So the dating pool was not ideal. There was either a bunch of men who wanted marriage yesterday, or the men who were still married with kids and just wanted to cheat on their wives. Not kidding. It was horrible. God, it was so horrible. Since it looked like no one wanted a committed or serious relationship without diving headfirst into marriage, I kind of just went back another step to the easygoing girl. And that's when I stepped into a long term relationship with someone who wasn't good for me. And then when that ended, I fell into another one of those. So it wasn't until, about 2016 where I had it. I was fed up with dating. I was fed up with my fucking bullshit. And I started to realize that whatever I was doing, it was the problem. So the next few years, I decided to work on myself, and it was probably one of the best things I ever could have done. So I went back to the same therapist, and I told her I wanted to work on myself. I wanted to figure out why things weren't working. I told her I wanted to dig in deep so I could find the shit that was bothering me deep down and throw it out. And then just figure out, why am I doing this altogether? At the same time, I knew I needed to do so much more personal development. So I started reading books and listening to podcasts, such as Figuring Out Shame and Vulnerability from Dr. Brene Brown, reading about attachment styles, plus figuring out other things that I could do and enjoy when I was alone. This helped me develop a better relationship with myself, and this was right when the tides started to turn. In 2017, I put my learnings into action by trying online dating again. I put boundaries in place, like timeframes. So I would only date between the months of like March and September because I didn't want to get involved in the cuffing season situationship during the holidays. And I will definitely be explaining more of that on another episode. Then I also decided I wanted to focus or even refocus on past hobbies and interests. So reading for fun. I joined a master's swim team to be doing some competitive swimming again. Taking an interest in decorating my apartment in a different way. All those sort of things. So by this time, I had a list of qualities that I knew I wanted in a man. And honestly, I made this list to prove to everyone that I was right and they were wrong, that the most amazing man did not exist, and I would have to move out of state to find him. After my divorce, all I really wanted to do was to move west, specifically to Colorado. I had loved the mountains. I had loved the idea of hiking whenever I wanted, and I loved the idea of just being someplace completely different than where I was currently. It would be like starting over, and that's exactly what I wanted. So, with every date that went wrong and with every person who contacted me that just didn't fit into my box, I was proving to be right. Then in 2019, I decided to cut back on dating and start creating a real plan to leave Nebraska. Then in March, I was let go from what I thought was my dream job. But of course, over the first few months, I realized that it was never a real dream. And an hour after being let go, yes, was bitter, a little bit angry, yet it turned into happiness. I took part of my 3 month severance pay and decided to hire a career life coach. She helped me figure out what was missing in my career. And when I started overlap what was missing with a little bit of reflection, I realized it wasn't my career. It was just like the whole reason why I went to my therapist for relationships. It was me. I applied what I had learned in my relationships and my personal development, and there was one aha moment after another, seeing how certain moments affecting my career impacted my relationships and vice versa. Once I pivoted from digital marketing to becoming a life coach, I literally felt like I stepped into something I've always wanted to do, which in the grand scheme of things was to make a difference in other people's lives and help people achieve their goals. I found my purpose aligning with my passion, and my heart was just lighting up. And the more lit up my heart became, the more it took up space, which was wonderful because it helped me clear out any remaining bullshit in my life, period. So, in the summer of 2019, I decided it was time to let go of some friendships that were holding me back. These were the constant complainers, the narcissists, the victim mentality friendships, the passive aggression sort of friendship texts. All of them either came to a halt or faded away by September. At the same time, I started seeing the true friendships, the ones that were contributing who I wanted to be as a person, the ones who were extremely helpful or made me curious about something new, and the ones who had my back whenever shit went wrong. I was finally stepping into a life where everything seemed to be falling into place except one, my love life. So I hopped back on a dating app in November. Within 2 hours of signing up on a random Tuesday night, I started talking to someone. By Thursday, I asked him out on a date. Yes, I asked him out. We met up for drinks on Friday after work and we stayed out till 1 a.m. 2 weeks later, I was meeting his friends and family over Thanksgiving weekend. And then the week after that, he met my parents. So, this infamous day of March 13th, 2020, where I call it kind of the day of the shit show, the pandemic went down, I moved into his apartment and we haven't been separate since. He proposed on New Year's Eve in 2020. We moved from Omaha, Nebraska to St. Louis, Missouri in April of 2021. Then we got married in October of 2021. And it still is. It's still the best relationship I've had that's a never ending honeymoon phase. And I always think it will be in this never ending honeymoon phase. If I had never been tired, honestly, if I had never been tired of my own bullshit, taken time for reflection, and decided what I really wanted for myself, I wouldn't have found my husband. Of course, there's more key learnings, processes, tools, and different strategies that got me here. But I wanted to share my 14-year backstory at a high level to show you it is possible. I have grown so much that all I want to do is help other women get the relationship they deserve. And in order to have the relationship that you want and deserve, especially if you're single, it takes work, meaning working on yourself first. So, with all that said, I wanted to end this first episode with some food for thought. Carve out some time for reflection soon, whether that's 15 minutes or maybe even up to an hour. Really look back at your relationships, whether it's romantic relationships or friendships. Track your progress and ask yourself, am I headed in the direction I want to be going? And if you don't know what the answer is, it's time to really start digging deeper into who you are now and who you want to become. All right, ladies, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have the most amazing week. And if you love this episode, please share it with a friend or on Instagram. Let me know what you think. Tag me, message me. Until next time.